Hi, my name is Jackson Elmquist, and this is my Career Compass presentation. So, on the screen there's a quote, and it's one of my favorite quotes from my favorite author, George R. R. Martin. He did Game of Thrones, and I've just always kind of really identified with this quote, and yeah. So, getting on with the presentation, with I grew up with divorced parents, and they've been separated since I was like really young. So on the left is my mom, and no, the little kid in the princess outfit is not me. And on the right is my dad, and that one is me with him. So my mom grew up here in St. Cloud, and my dad grew up way down here in Eden Prairie. And so about every other weekend or so, I'd have to make this long drive between their houses. And no, it wasn't that very convenient line. It was more along this road here that goes through Minneapolis and blah, blah, blah. So they started to get really annoyed with me on these drives and recommended I start reading books. And I started out with the books that are there in the upper left, the Percy Jackson books, and I really liked them. So I started reading more and more. And eventually I was spending like a couple hours a day after school in a library just looking for books, sitting down, reading. And then I'd go home and read some more, and that would just be my days. Well, I got really into Greek mythology through these books. I read the Iliad and the Odyssey, Hercules, Oedipus the King, and I started to realize that that middle picture, Hercules, the Disney cartoon, way off. Actually, incredibly annoying. That used to be one of my favorite movies. I can barely watch it now. But yeah, so I got really into Greek mythology, and I started to think it'd be pretty cool if I got to teach this. So I thought about teaching for a little bit, and I had a few people to talk to about this. My grandma used to teach nursing at St. Ben's, and my grandpa used to teach at a high school in Bloomington. So I talked to them about it, and they thought it'd be a really good idea. And I figured if I started teaching, I could also coach swimming, which is one of my loves in life, swimming. I've always been really good at it, and I always loved my team. And I thought it'd be really cool if I could, coach swimming for like the rest of my life. But at the same time, teachers and coaches don't really make any money. So I'm not sure how good of a decision that would be for me. I could get by, but money's important. All right, so I went back to all those books that I've been reading. And between A Game of Thrones and John Grisham, there are only really four jobs that you can pick out. And once I figured out I couldn't be a knight, a king, or a dragon, I kind of just decided I'd go with the John Grisham route and maybe think about going into law school. Now, I've always been like very interested in law, and I just think it'd be something I'd be really good at. Being able to write and read all the time. Those are really the two things that I love doing most, and I think that a career in law could help me pursue those very well while also helping society in a very positive manner. And given that reading and writing are my two favorite things, I decided, of course, to major in English. So, yeah, thank you for listening to my presentation, and that is the end.